Brent, calm down. This is a common problem in neighborhoods where houses are built too close together. You need gutters and a properly installed French drain that will soak up subsurface water. We can completely dry it up.
So I can take my builder off my speed dial now, huh?
Yeah, we got you, buddy. Let that builder bitterness go.
Clear water irrigation
and drainage too.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, hopefully all of you, or at least most of you, had a great 3 days off, Memorial weekend. The weather, for the most part, did its part. Today, the Jaguars back at it early on a Tuesday. It was a good day out there, a little bit hotter than it had been, the previous couple of weeks, which is a good thing. I think we always look at weather, as an individual, right? What does the weather mean to you? What does the weather mean to me? The Jaguars facility, and this will be the way until things get cranked up in August, the Miller Electric training facility, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. As I've said millions and millions of times, Jacksonville's a little backwards in some issues. So, there's no shade at the practice field, which they have not been at as of late. They're actually doing it from the game field, which, again, has no shade, okay? And that's fine. That's not a big deal. I know it's rough on you as fans. And, again, talking about weather here. So I think when you're a member of the media out there watching it, is it going to be 87 today? Is it going to be 77 today? What's it going to be like? Is there a breeze? Is anything happening? When in reality, what you really want is for it to be hot. That's supposed to be an advantage for the Jaguars, and hopefully an advantage early. When Kansas City comes here during their opening game at home in their, second overall game during the 2023 season, obviously, while opening up on the road in Indianapolis. So today was turned up just a little bit, and again, that's a good thing. And, I did talk with Yasir Abdullah about that, and he's a Miami kid, right? He left Miami, he went to Louisville, but he's back here, and I could tell by asking it just by looking at his eyes, and he's like, no. This isn't hot. Hot will be in July. Hot will be in August. Hopefully hot will be in September. But overall, another very good day for the Jaguars. It just looks different. It feels different. It truly does. Even though you got a lot of youngsters that are fighting for roster spots and a lot of youngsters that are trying to come in and be, whether spot starters or occasional starters or in some set of circumstances, guys who take over for others who, for one reason or another, are either not here or are on the cusp of perhaps losing their job. Like, for instance, Cam Robinson, which we saw the return of Cam today. And for me, that was good news. It's absolutely good news when you're there. I don't think you can look at it any other way, but it got me thinking a little bit. Why is he here? What's going on? Does he believe that his job could be in jeopardy? Is there a scenario out there that we're not aware of at this particular point that sounds a little bit like this? Depending on what comes down from the NFL when they actually do tell the Jaguars and the National Football League how many games Cam Robinson is in fact going to be suspended for PEDs, How many games will it be? And will that mean that he's losing the always important guaranteed money that is this year in his contract? I don't have an answer for that. No one does at this particular time. But is it crazy right now to just throw it out there and say, has Cam Robinson played his final game as a Jacksonville Jaguar? Could this organization just flat out say goodbye to him? I'd be surprised if they could trade him now, unless there's an injury that comes down either here during the offseason or once training camp officially does get underway. I certainly think that if that was not the case and he was to remain on this football team, depending on how Jacksonville is doing, and then depending on who gets hurt around the NFL, you could maybe see him get moved for a player or, a draft pick to a team that believes it's a playoff club before the trade deadline. But, to me, that was something that was very interesting, noticing Cam Robinson out there today because, the last couple of weeks trying to get information, it was very unclear. We knew that he was one of three that was not there, along with Evan Ingram, and Evan Ingram has not signed his franchise tender, so he is currently, by definition, not on the roster. And then the whole situation with Josh Allen, which I'm going to get to here in just a couple of moments. So it was good to see Cam Robinson. Now, didn't really showcase much. He was doing some individual drills with his group, with the offensive line. I did notice that he was running today a great deal as well with other injured and/or rehabilitating offensive linemen, the newly acquired Josh Wells running with Cam Robinson, Ben Barch running with Cam Robinson, doing some different type of agilities and some strengthening, with things that I don't feel comfortable about mentioning, again, just kind of out of respect for the Jags. I'm talking about the devices that they were using. As far as whether it's resistance or whatever it is during their rehab process, it was impossible not to notice those three offensive linemen working out a little bit earlier today. But I do think it's worthy of a conversation to get into tonight because here's where I'm at. This team looks really good. And, contrarians by nature are always going to find something negative to go to. And that sells in a lot of aspects. I have, believe it or not, over the years, been ripped for the exact opposite, being way too positive during camp. I mean, as I've said, every year I get back here and I start telling you how great Daniel Thomas looks and how Daniel Thomas is going to be a guy that you can count on this year at safety. Well, for 3 consecutive years, that hasn't been the case. I actually watched Daniel Thomas a little bit earlier today. Not going to make that mistake this year. But if there was a book on, what we do is interesting. You go out and you watch practice, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. Okay? I think that there are members of the media that are incredibly into every single play. Okay? Everything that's happening, and it's hard with 90 players. Because you cannot watch everything. It's not like it's an 11-on-11 and the rest of the guys are with the offense and with the defense respectively. No, you've got the field broken in half, or you have positional groups and things that are happening. To watch all 90 is impossible. It really is. So, and I've noticed this since the mid-'90s. I've noticed since I started covering Florida State before then is everyone does things differently. You have those that are totally into it, right? And everything that's going on, they're aware. You have others that are kind of just passing the time, checking their cell phone every 30 seconds. My goodness, when is this practice going to end? You have others who are out there for a social gathering only, oftentimes have their back turned to the practice field. They're there so they're recognized that they're there, but they're really not giving you anything, okay, outside of the fact that they're going to tell you that they were there. There are others who see things, but they don't know what they're seeing. And that's fair. That came up with the offensive line. Talking about that a little bit earlier today when I had a conversation with Dave Campo. Let me think about whether or not I want to go into the specifics on it. But Campo recognized something today with first-round pick Anton Harrison, and I was staring right at him, and I didn't recognize it. So this isn't a rip. This isn't a criticism. I'm just saying, maybe it's like looking at art. Maybe it's like going into a museum. I don't know. Maybe it's doing it, and when you look at it and you see it, it means something different to you that it may mean to me. And with the offensive line, man, that's always been hard for me to try to figure out stuff. And you're trying to tell me now that you can really gauge some good stuff without pads being on, without contact actually taking place. So anyway, whatever. Take it for what it is, but it's good, okay? The vibe is good. It gets clicky, and you go from one to another, and you pop in this group and pop in that group, and it's all good. Everything that's being said about this football team right now is really positive, and you can tell by looking at it, it just feels totally different from a year ago. You talk about a clown's world. 2 years ago with Urban Meyer was one of the most I don't even know if words can describe the way that particular training camp did look. So for me, it's a good feeling. And with others that I talk with, it's a good feeling. Therefore, there are a couple of issues where if you're looking for something and you're wondering, okay, it's not all perfect, right? Not all 90 guys. There's got to be something going on. Well, the Cam Robinson story, I think, is a major what if. And I just hit on that briefly. And again, we'll give you an opportunity to voice your opinion at 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. And the other is Josh Allen. Okay? Now, where's he at? Where is he? Yeah, it's voluntary. I get it. But where is he? Okay, here I am talking to Yasir Abdullah today. So if he's not there and they're starting with a game on Sunday, you're trying to tell me you have Trayvon Walker in a second year on one side, and you have Yasir Abdullah, a fifth-round pick, on the other? I mean, where is Josh Allen? And I don't know if it's a personal situation. I don't know if he's working out on his own. My hunch is he's pouting. Okay? He's pissed off. He doesn't have a contract. And I get that. I get it. It's his livelihood. It's year 5. He's making $10.8 million guaranteed. He wants to be paid like a top pass rush end in the NFL. Here's the problem. He hasn't earned it. He hasn't earned that money. So what are the Jaguars going to do here? And Josh Allen, to me, has always been a little bit like a Brandon Linder. I've always been one of those who is subscribed to the feeling that Josh Allen is respected a hell of a lot more in their building than he is in Duval. I think he's an acquired taste in Duval. I think he's been a disappointment who has flashed at times in Duval. What would I rate his career? C+, maybe? B-, and there haven't been much of a grader. I don't know why I just asked it that particular way, but he has not been anything short of spectacular. He's had a couple of good months here and there in his 4-year career. But if that's what, in fact, he is doing, is holding out, then he's getting bad advice, okay? The advice is coming in from the National Football League Players Association. The advice is coming in from his agency. Right now, to me, Josh Allen, and this hurts to say, okay? Josh Allen is probably Jacksonville's best defensive leader only because Jacksonville does not have a defensive leader. They don't. I mean, quick. Who is it? They just restructured Hamilton or redid his deal. They restructured Roy Robertson Harris. Are you going to tell me Foye Oluokun?
What about Rayshon?
In his second year, you can tell me Rayshon Jenkins?
Maybe just because he's like a loudmouth guy.
Yep.
But I don't know. You're probably right.
80 out of 88. Pro Football Focus ranked him as a safety.
Yeah.
80, not 8 out of 88, not 18, 80 out of 88. So I agree with you. Urban Meyer shoved it down our throat that he was a leader. I thought he had a nice season. Leaders in this league are outside of Dewey, outside of the great Andrew Wingard, Dewey. A young man who really can't play, but for some reason, well, let's be honest, the city turned 180 on him. I mean, I read your stuff. You guys were trashing this kid for 3 years. Then he caused a big fumble, and all of a sudden, I've always been a Dewey guy. Oh, yeah, I've always loved Andrew Wingard. He couldn't cover me, but I don't know. I love him. So the point I'm making is, in this league, you're only a leader if you can play. Is Rayshon Jenkins a leader when he's ranked the 80th best safety out of 88 by Pro Football Focus? I don't know. But a leader's Josh Allen. Where are you, Josh Allen? If this is a personal personal ploy to get yourself paid, okay, well then let's come out and say what it is. You're an individual. Do others do it? Sure. Have others always done it? Sure. I remember MJD. I remember Unique. I remember all of the situations around here. That is very common. Hell, we saw Lamar Jackson, even after getting paid, miss the first OTA last week in Baltimore. So to call him selfish is probably a little bit misleading. I think it's more of doing what you have to do if you're trying to force a payday. But look at his defensive line. You got Trayvon Walker, who was lost a year ago. The guy had 3.5 sacks. And you got a 5th-round pick in Yasir Abdullah, who is undersized, and you're asking, so where's your leader? He's not there. To me, that's a problem. That's a problem for a team right now where the feeling is everything is fantastic. Everything is great. It's not. It's twofold. You got a couple of issues. You can go back to the way that Trent Baalke answered that question the Thursday before the draft, a week before the draft. He knew something was going on with Cam. And we just never figured it out, okay? I get a feeling that there's a problem there. I don't know what it is. And for the record, I hope there isn't one. I just have a feeling there is. With Josh Allen, he wants to get paid. What are you going to give this guy? You going to give him top 5 pass, rush, and money? You can't. I mean, look at the priorities. We're beginning with Trevor next year. Hopefully Calvin Ridley, re-signing him next year. What are you going to do with that offensive line next year? What are you going to do with Tyson Campbell next year? How are you going to address Foye Oluokun, who for consecutive years now, Atlanta and here, has led the NFL in tackles? And again, it's a defense that is absolutely lacking as far as a mouthpiece. It's a defense that isn't vocal. It's a defense that doesn't have leadership. It's a defense last year that was very immature. To the point that your defensive coordinator, Mike Caldwell, when I asked him about the green dot, he didn't even want to tell us. Like he was going to hide the green dot. How the hell do you hide the green dot? You can't hide the green dot. So, again, it was young. It was new. It was fresh. You learn from it. It's all going to get better. I think this year Mike Caldwell will tell us who, in fact, is going to wear the green dot on defense. I really believe that. But with Allen being out, to me, I'm actually at the point now, I'd let him go. I wouldn't give him his money. I'd make him play this year at $10.89 million, and depending on what he does, sign him to a deal during the offseason if it makes sense for both parties. If not, worst case scenario, you can always slap a franchise tag on him. And I know that's going to be brutally expensive. It's going to probably be north of $20-some-odd million in 2024. But he's just not a priority for me right now. This football team is going to have to outscore opponents. This football team improved by 9 points offensively a year ago. After a record-setting 14.9 points a game in 2021, they took it up to 23.8 in 2022. Where are they going this year? Well, I'll tell you where they need to go. They need to go around 28, 29 a game. They need to enter Kansas City, Buffalo, Philadelphia type of territory. And if you lose games 33-30 because you can't get to the quarterback, then you're going to have to deal with that. But if you lose games because you're suffering offensively, because you've put too much into your defense and your defense still isn't doing the job, then in my opinion, you have run into a major problem.
$24.5 million projected 2024 franchise tag for defenseman.
He's not worth that over 2 years. Hey, listen, there's not a better guy in that building than Josh Allen. This is not personal. I think, and I don't know him as well as, this whole COVID kind of screwed everything up. We're just getting back to, meeting these folks. Like James Robinson when he was here. I never had a personal conversation with James Robinson because he was gone. It's sad, but that's all return. Those days are gone. We're going to meet these guys once again. It's not personal. It's about business. You're going to have to make some tough decisions here. Jacksonville, I thought last year, spent way too much on defense. I did. 3 of their top 4 picks, when you added Lloyd and Muma in there with Walker, and all the money that you spent on free agency, again, my thought was always offense, 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 offense. Build your offense. Well, they've done that. And if you look at their offense, it's scary. Trevor Lawrence, it's almost at the point now, JJ, where you don't even watch Trevor Lawrence that much anymore. You're so convinced.
You're not charting his throws.
Right. You're so convinced that this man is on that obviously you pay attention, but I find myself watching other positions and doing other things because you know where Trevor is and you know where he's going to be. Where last year during this time, that was absolutely in doubt.
Easily the most reliable player on the team.
No doubt.
I would say.
I
can't even really think of a close second. Right. Maybe Logan Cook.
So the offensive line looks, the running backs look great. The tight ends look great. Down in numbers without Ingram. The wide receivers look spectacular. Offensive line, well, yeah. I got some serious issues there, as you should, with an offensive line that I do think is the Achilles heel of this football team. I think it's a soft offensive line. And I've yelled forever about building the wall of Duval. Give me 5 offensive linemen that don't shower, that don't brush their teeth, that are just disgusting, mean, filthy individuals. And I want them to be the best in the league. Where do you rank this offensive line? Seriously. 28th, 29th at best? That's what the analytics tell us. That's what everyone else tells us. You as a fan, you may try to take it a step farther. So that's where you are right now. You got an untested left tackle, right tackle, and with Josh Allen not there, you have Trayvon Walker on one side, and I guess Yasir Abdul on the other. Man, to me, that's 3 out of 4 spots. 2 protecting your quarterback, the other 2 getting after your opponent's quarterback. That right now is a serious question mark. Massive. So, anyway, views from today's practice with the Jaguars. Overall, it's still really good. It is. Just those issues right there need to be taken care of sooner than later. All right, we got a lot to do tonight. We're going to hear from you, as always, we do a little bit later here tonight on Tuesday. I want to thank the ladies of Helmets and Heels. Rest of the week, 6 to 8, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Going to be a very busy week to start both the NBA and the NHL finals. Okay, we're a couple of weeks away from the United States Open. And as well, unfortunately, just one look out there. I get it. I understand it, but I'm not happy about it. I wish we were back out there tomorrow. I wish we were back out there Thursday. I love it. You get to see stuff every day. You get to come here and talk about it every day, and they want only one session a week. That's their decision. Who am I to question it? But I'm also not afraid to say, man, I wish that wasn't the case. I wish we had more accessibility. But nonetheless, that's the way things are at this particular time. All right, so we got a lot to do tonight. We're going to be with you up until 10 o'clock. I want you to hear from Yasir Abdullah, 5th-round pick out of Louisville. Spent a couple of minutes with him today after the Jaguars OTA. It was their 4th OTA of the offseason, and enjoyed the conversation with him. So we'll play that on the other side. Also, want to get your feedback on both Cam Robinson, Josh Allen, or anything else you heard me say. As always, the best way to get in is on the text line. That number is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
He's 1010XL's radio road grader, Leon Searcy. Noon to 1:30 weekdays on XL Primetime. On 1010XL.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars in their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
That smells good. What is that?
Grilling up lunch with Leon and the Sausage Dudes. Sausage with a purpose.
And that is tasting good. It's Pro Bowl offensive lineman Leon Searcy or XL Primetime.
Weekdays from noon till 1:30 on 1010XL.
You will love your new custom windows and doors from Renewal by Anderson. For a limited time, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, special financing is available. You'll enjoy the beauty and quality that only Renewal by Anderson offers. This offer expires May 31st and restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
At Andy's Automotive and Truck Services, they know that your company's fleet is more than just a bunch of cars and trucks. It's your livelihood, your reputation, your pride. So when you need routine fleet maintenance or emergency repairs, Andy's offers after-hours and mobile service to minimize your downtime and keep your fleet running like new. While you care for your employees and customers, rest assured Andy's Automotive will take care of your fleet. Visit the team at andysats.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. These pests are out for blood, but you don't have to let them win. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There's a new butcher in town. We're talking a vacuum marinating, sausage grinding, take and bake siding, value pricing, full service butcher. And our name is Southern Steer.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. For the new year, check out the new gear at hardballcreative.com. and make sure your employees are sporting your logo on the newest and coolest apparel.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
E.T. here, and y'all know how much I like my brown water, but I ain't gonna lie, it gives me headaches sometimes. So my alternative is Brackish Vodka. This gluten-free alternative to Tito's is 100% local, and all monies stays right here in Duval. Not only does Brackish Vodka make you feel good, but when you support Brackish Vodka, you're also helping local charities. Try it side by side with your favorite vodka, and you will taste and smell how natural Brackish Vodka really is. And when you do, remember who sent you. Come on, somebody.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
We do tonight till 10 o'clock in Attacker Nation. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, Friday night, 6 to 8. Yasir Abdullah in 1 minute. Did you have a good 3-day vacay?
I had a great one.
Yeah?
But I have beef with something I did over the weekend.
Ooh.
I went to a minor league game for the first time this year. Had a grand time. I love the shrimp games. I love everything they do. The crowd was great. Drinks were cold. Perfect food. But, dude, they are challenging balls and strikes now in minor league baseball. I wasn't sure if you were aware of this. And it's happening like every at-bat. And it's confusing. The crowd's not really sure of what's going on. You're not sure who's challenging it. And then you go to the scoreboard and they show like a box and whether the ball's out or in. So, like, you might celebrate a strikeout just to find out 10 seconds later that it's not a strikeout. It was a walk. It sucked, man. They better not bring that to the majors. I'm telling you, people are going to be pissed.
They're going to go to Questec.
They'll probably go to, like...
So you can't challenge.
So it's just a robot ump?
Robot up from upstairs. It sends the signal to the home plate umpire.
There. Okay. That.
So they make the ball and strike above. So you can't argue with the home plate umpire because
they're
he
not
didn't make
making
the call.
Right. That would make. I don't want that, but that would be better than what they're doing, which is like, hey, the guy's making the call, and if the guy doesn't think it's right, then we go to the technology.
I don't. Now, our friend here, and how come I can't think of his name? 15-year Major League Baseball player from
Murphy?
Jackson. Yeah, Daniel Murphy. In the independent league, they're either doing that there or they're doing it in some form of minor league baseball.
I've seen the robot umps before, like you're talking about, and if you watch the video, you're going to realize very quickly that Major League batters are not going to be happy with this.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many pitches that aren't called strikes by, umps throughout all of baseball, through little leagues to the majors. But, like, if it barely touches this piece of the strike zone, it's a strike from the robot umps. So you're seeing balls that are low, high, outside, inside that would never be called strikes are being called strikes. So hitters be warned if we go to that.
It's disappointing to hear that because I love going to shrimp games, and obviously I can't go here 5 nights a week. Right now I've been doing the golf beach thing, but I need to make my way out there soon because it's always a good time.
Still a blast.
Yep.
And obviously a lot cheaper than Major League options.
The 0917 says, Rick, Doug actually said Josh Allen is working out on his own at the beginning of OTAs. No disgruntled reporting about them. I'm fully aware of those comments. Okay, this one did not sneak by me. I remember it. Here's my opinion on it. Doug Peterson is playing this perfectly. Not going to throw his player under the bus. He's not going to throw the organization under the bus. Until I'm told differently, I believe Josh Allen right now is begun a match of chess. He wants to get paid, and he is holding out. And these particular rules are put in place in the collective bargaining agreement to allow players like Josh Allen to miss these voluntary workouts. So by the letter of the law, it's fine. Here's my problem. He hasn't earned a large payday. And number two, man, do they need him out there working with Trayvon Walker, working with Yasir Abdullah and others. I mean, they really need this man Jackson was 28th in pass defense last year. They had 35 sacks as a team. Patrick Mahomes got hurt, and that offensive line in Kansas City totally flipped the switch and stoned Josh Allen and the guys next to him. Completely stoned them in that final game. And we live on the Agnew fumble and the Christian Kirk drop. But the other side of the ball says you could not get any pressure at all. So if I am Doug Peterson or I'm anyone else in that organization right now, privately and or publicly, I'm pretty pissed that Josh Allen's not there.
And if it was something personal, this is obviously just my hypothesis, but if it was him taking a leave of absence for something personal, don't you think Peterson would have immediately said that first press conference
Yes.
of OTAs to nip it in the bud,
Yes.
to let everybody know, hey, he's not skipping out?
Yes.
So that's how I know that it's not anything personal.
Right. If and I don't even want to go down any type of road of it being personal, but if it was an issue, that I don't want to use the word convenient excuse, but that kind of says to guys like me,
shut up.
Back off a little bit
Yeah.
here. He's going through a serious issue.
But he didn't do that.
And you can speculate that it's an issue. And oh, by the way, if it is, and I find out about it, I'll apologize. I don't read it that way. I read it as a pout. I read it as though he's unhappy. He has not been extended a contract. It's like, I'm not paying him. He hasn't done enough. This team is no longer in a situation where let's re-sign one of our own or a couple of our own because they had drafted so bad forever. That is beginning to change for the better. Look at the players who have been selected the last couple of years. All of a sudden, and listen, I wouldn't have re-signed Cam. Look at that now. That's a disaster. I'm glad they didn't re-sign Juwan Taylor. He wasn't worth anywhere near $20 million a year. Okay, so Josh Allen, same boat. Has he given you the 7th player in the draft type of production? Is he a true team leader? Is he a game changer on your defense? Or is he just, well, he's a guy that the team drafted and he's one of their better players? To me, it's absolutely the latter. But I appreciate that from the 0917.
And by Doug saying, like, oh, he's working out on his own or whatever, okay, does that make you feel better? As if, like, I don't care about that. That's not making me feel better about the situation because, like, oh, well, Doug said he's working out and he's fine. It's like, you're totally missing the point, bro. Like, these coaches are super good at PR talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course he's going to give you that crap.
The working out on his own.
Oh, yeah, we're monitoring him. We're talking to him. I love that.
I mean, wouldn't it be great
we're
if once,
monitoring.
Wouldn't it be great if you just heard one? No, he's sipping Mai Tais
He's
on the
so
beach.
fat right now.
He's on the beach, right? You know.
Like, they're never going to do that.
He sent me a photo. He's in this little cabana. He's got, like, the fans filtered in there. It's, like, air conditioned.
I don't think he's ran in months.
He had this drink with an umbrella in it, and he's working out on his own.
and he is, so I guess the place in town, Rise and Grind, I believe it's called, where he does work out, posted a video of him working out. And it's like, okay, so that's his team's way of showing, like, hey, fans, don't be so pissed because I am staying in shape. But it's like, dude, it's not the same.
No, it's a negotiating tactic. Especially if he's working out here in town. If we hear if we hear he's in Lexington, Kentucky, or he's somewhere else across the country and he's working out, okay. I mean, still not thrilled, but okay. He's in town and he's not working out. All right, let's get to hopefully the future as a pass rush and combination outside linebacker. In the 5th round, the Jaguars did select out of Louisville, Yasir Abdullah. He has been considered undersized at 6'1", 240. Had an opportunity today to sit down with him immediately following the Jaguars OTA. Here with Yasir Abdullah. So the Heat's picked up a little bit compared to last week, at least in my opinion. What was it like out here today?
It was. I'm used to the heat, but nothing changed really. Just stayed in the playbook and went through the whole practice scheme. And it was a regular day today.
The heat, I mean, growing up in Miami, certainly you're used to it. What about those, the 4 years at Louisville? How was that as far as humidity and heat?
It wasn't as hot. It was kind of warm over there, so it was nice. But it was really cold. It gets really cold over there, so I kind of get used to both weather changes, heat and cold. So.
The first couple of weeks for you, what's this been like? Basically learning a couple of things as an outside linebacker, also moving up to the line of scrimmage. Is the most difficult part right now physically going out there and playing, or just the mental side of trying to learn the defensive scheme?
Really, it's just the mental aspect. Just learning new terms, terminologies, and techniques from college. So just learning those. I'm doing pretty good with that, but it's a process. That's what the off season's for, just to work on those little things.
Really tremendous opportunity for you.
Oh yeah,
I mean, right out of the gate, a chance to do some things. What's your mindset in falling to the 5th round? Many had you going earlier. Does that put a chip on your shoulder? Is that over now? What's that all like?
It's over now, but throughout my whole entire life, I always had a chip on my shoulder, just because I was always picked last, and people made fun of my size and stuff, and I always had that chip on my shoulder and always stayed humble. So I'm just blessed to be here. I'm just blessed the Jaguars picking me up, so I'm excited to go.
What's best for you, perfect world? Would you like to be a guy rushing the passer all the time? Do you like dropping in coverage, playing the run? Tell us about your game.
It's a little bit of both, but at this point, I'm doing whatever the team wants me to do to win some games.
You're a rookie, obviously. Around here, it's been down the last couple of years. Top pick in the draft, but the expectations have totally turned in the city where this team is expected to go deep in the playoffs. What's it like to come over to a team like this, knowing that is what is expected out of the club?
Oh, man, it's a blessing, man. I love to work.
Yep.
Seeing the older guys, the vets work, and I just want to be like them. And, I'm glad to join the train.
Josh isn't here, but Trayvon's only in his 2nd year. What have you learned from some key defensive guys on the line?
Just the playbook, really, and some techniques I got to learn. Like I said earlier, the older guys really helped me out, just being a pro and taking things in.
Appreciate the time, you sir. Thank you so much. All right, he was born and raised in Miami. His dad actually played for the Gators, and so he's used to the heat here, but he did choose Louisville. He's been fun to watch. He's very athletic. He has beaten Anton Harrison in some one-on-one drills, which I think are unfair for the offensive lineman, again, with no pads on. The size is going to throw you. I always make the comparison of Larry Hart, who was selected by this organization, heck, I don't know, 13, 15 years ago, something like that. Obviously, let's hope for you Jag fans out there that they get far more production out of him. He's got a tremendous attitude. You can tell that by watching him, position drills, getting with Bill Shuey, the outside linebacker coach. Just, I'd love to say listening to some veteran tutelage, but I don't know who that's coming from. I mean, Josh Allen's not there. I mean, let's pick a defensive lineman. I mean, what do you do if you're do you hang on bated breath when a guy walks up to you like, let's see here, where's the guy I'm looking for, and I can't even.
Who's the white
Jordan
guy
Smith?
with the tattoos on his back?
No, Jordan Smith, who's been hurt for 2 years. Are you talking about Doug Gotsis?
Yeah, is he still
Adam
here?
Gotsis.
Adam Gotsis.
Doug Costin, who was I was thinking. Adam Gotsis. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot of veteran leaders on that side of the ball with that position group, and obviously very respectful during the interview. So there's a lot to like there with this young man. And, getting an opportunity last week to talk with Antonio Johnson, same situation, a 5th-round pick as a safety out of Texas A&M. I think all of a sudden around here that there are really high hopes for both these 5th-rounders. I think realistically you got to slow it down just a little bit. They did fall to the 5th round for a reason. Can they both help this football team? No question about it. Would I expect that early on? No. No way. And again, those two positions, I think this team is going to add. You know, we brought up the text a little bit earlier who said that Peterson said that Allen was working out at home and there's nothing going on. He's staying in shape. Well, that's the proper way to answer that question as a player's coach in Doug Peterson. Last week, he also answered another question that really sets well for Peterson as the head coach by being asked, are you going to add a pass rush edge? And for him to basically go down the road of saying, no, we like our roster. We think everyone here is what we need. Always trying to get better, but I don't think anything is going to change. That's his way of saying Trent Baalke's the guy who goes out and gets the players. I'm the one who's going to coach these players. And the roster that you give me, I'm not going to do anything to diminish them, particularly this early. I mean, they're always going to upgrade. Look what they did a kicker last week, and that happened after our session with them.
That was the funniest part about
earlier in the week.
Peterson's comments, because he finished that answer that you just brought up by saying, it's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get rid of a guy and bring another guy in, and like 48 hours later, they just did it with the kicker. It's like, it's not that hard.
It's interesting how things have changed. If this was, well, and the whole CBA was different then. I mean, you had two-a-days. You had all of that. Of course, Coughlin wasn't here during the, when I got back in 2006. He was in New York. But I would love to know how Tom Coughlin would answer that question. And what I mean by Tom now is even if he was going to take the high road and try to say something that wouldn't create anything with the media or with the team, I would have liked to have checked his knuckles. Would he have grabbed the podium with both hands where all of a sudden he's got white knuckles, or the strain on his face that's basically saying, get your ass into camp, but I'm not allowed to say anything here because I don't want to lose the team or this or that. Yeah, with Peterson, it's like his blood pressure didn't even go up. Hey, man, it's mid-May. It's late May. He's not here. Okay, it's not perfect. We wish he was here, but let's they're working on it.
He's never caught off guard by a question.
Doug Peterson is amazing the way he handles these questions. I think on the surface, when you're a sports fan, you think, all right, this question's coming, this question's coming, this question's coming, this is how I'm going to handle it, this is how I'm going to go through it. It's not like they have publicists. It's not like it's political, right, where they sit down with the PR firm and say, hey, you're going to get asked today about Cam Robinson not being here. Maybe every once in a while a reminder.
If it's like a big story. I'm sure with Urban, when it came to the Cincinnati stuff, that was a thing.
Well, yeah, and, when Bobby was getting old, okay, with Bobby Bowden, they might want to remind, hey, Coach, you've had 19 players suspended for this weekend's game, okay? I'm going to put a little list down here for you, but these guys won't be able to give it a go on Saturday.
We'll put it on a note card.
But for Doug Peterson, man, it's like, and I didn't see this immediately. I've given the example many times. I really saw it for the first time after that loss in London. That was a game changer for me as far as the way I think he handles the media. He does it in a very respectful, creative way where it's not canned. I mean, even that answer there about adding players, it was the perfect answer. Now, if Trent Baalke goes out and brings in a veteran edge, it's not sitting above, hey, Coach, you told us they weren't going to add it. No, he didn't say it that way. He said, I like what we have. We're always trying to get better, but it's difficult to bring guys in. I'm sure if he brings in a guy, I'm sure if he brings in Yannick Ngakoue, or if he brings in Leonard Floyd, or he brings it, he's going to be able to turn that around immediately and say, well, look, this is what he's done. This is where he's at. This is what we think we can ask him to do. And it will all be put together nicely. So, hey, most of the stuff over there right now is really, really good.
It's like a professional football.
It is. It's really good. An outstanding staff. A front office that got raked through the coals, which all of a sudden now is receiving more and more credit. And it's a really good football team. It is. This is a double-digit win football team. And they've got some holes, but every team's got holes. Outside of Kansas City, if they had Hopkins, but that's another story for another day. See the latest there? It's like all Kansas City and Buffalo. Man, that's going to be tough if either one of those two teams ends up getting DeAndre Hopkins. All right, let's do this. Take another break. Come back. Get more from you. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Great to have you with us. With you tonight till 10.
Getting you ready every day. You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
Get ready.
This is the most important game of your life. No excuses. Do the work.
With 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Ladies and gentlemen, it only happens once a year. It's always fun. It's our Memorial Weekend backlot clearance. 267 new and used vehicles in our backlot have been marked down to the max. Plus, be one of the first 10 to buy a new car and receive a free TV. But when they're gone, it's over. Sale starts Friday at 9 a.m. and ends Monday at 9 p.m. You cannot afford to miss this sale. Only at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine and Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Don't make us come get you.
All you weekend warriors want to start your Saturday or Sunday off right? Head on down to ABBQ for our delicious brunch menu. Mouth-watering prime brisket hashed to our smokehouse meats Benedict.
Yum.
And for those who like it light, we also have our avocado toast. We've got all your brunch boozy favorites too, like mimosas and bloodies, always on special. So come and join us this weekend and treat yourself to the best brunch in town. ABBQ, love at first bite. ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
Children under 5 die from drowning in Florida more than any other state. Together, we can reduce the risk of drowning. The YMCA has programs accessible to families that teach essential water safety skills. Face the water with confidence. Learn more at watersafetyflorida.org.
The best golfing weather is upon us, and Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to enjoy your round of golf with us. Our warm and welcoming atmosphere and spectacular golf course keeps our customers coming back. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 30th, 1985, in the Stanley Cup Final, Oilers take back-to-back titles, winning 8-3 over the Flyers. Wayne Gretzky posts a goal and 3 assists.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting, prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I said yes to Yas, Dr. Mitchell Yas, and the Yas method. Now I know, you've probably tried medications, treatments, injections, even surgery. Maybe the reason you're still in pain is because they're treating the wrong thing and not addressing the root causes. Well, I know from personal experience, this does happen. But I found the best kept secret in pain elimination, Dr. Yas and the Yas method. Call him today, 904-906-YASS, and say yes to Yas.
Are you looking for increased privacy and protection for your family and pets? Look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Superior Fence and Rail is Jacksonville's top-rated fence company, delivering the highest quality fence products. They'll treat your property as if it's their own. So get off the fence and get your privacy back. Call Superior Fence and Rail today for your on-site estimates.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Dave Binion here with Zero Res. I love living in Jacksonville, where we have so many families who serve or have served in the military. I am so grateful for their sacrifice to keep us safe. If you have a family member who is on active duty or is a veteran, now is the time to call Zero Res. Right now, get a 25% military discount on everything we clean. That's 25% off carpet cleaning, tile and grout, upholstery, or oriental rugs. Zero Res, spelled forward backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hi,
I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. We're your local family jeweler for 46 years in Jacksonville with a huge selection of diamonds, gemstones, and pre-owned Rolex watches. And Monahan Jewelers is your store for expert jewelry repair turned around in 1 or 2 days. Most jewelry stores take 2 weeks or more, and many stores send your jewelry somewhere else for repair. At Monahan Jewelers, our jewelry repair is done in-house by expert craftsmen, and Monahans can turn around most repairs in a day or two. So bring your jewelry repair to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
This is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. Remember when you were going to get that pain fixed this year? Well, the year is almost halfway over. If you're still dealing with that pain, enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today at 904-274-5522. Set up a free consultation in Mandarin or Pontevedra. The advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain. You can do all those summer activities you love. How do they do it? By taking healing properties from your own body and applying them right into your achy joint. Your tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. You can have life-changing results without drugs, surgery, or downtime. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulders, hips, enough is enough. Call QC Kinetics now, 904-274-5522. That's 274-5522.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Once I thought I saw you in a crowded easy bar.
All right, the odds are in for both the NBA and NHL finals. How about Florida? A couple of 8 seeds. Unbelievable. The Panthers and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Right now, Las Vegas 135 to the dollar. So they are a slight favorite. All right. Again, minus 135, 57.5% of the bets so far have gone in on Las Vegas over Florida. NBA, Denver, much bigger favorite, minus 380. All right, got to lay $380 down in order to win back 100. If you want to grab Miami, very little risk, but a huge returns, plus 310 for the Miami Heat. So in the NBA, Denver minus 380, Miami plus 310. This is for the series odds. Back to the NHL, minus 135 for Vegas, plus 115 for Florida. So the Panthers are basically even money. You are getting a little bit back. So look forward to that both on ice and on the hardwood beginning later on this week.
So Vegas must be a high seed as well then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vegas out of the West. I think in the regular season they were maybe they were 2 in the West.
Oh.
Where Boston was 1 in the East. So
Vegas was
double check this.
No, Vegas.
They were
yeah,
1.
second.
Yeah, they were behind the Colorado Avalanche, who Vegas had 2 more points than Colorado. Okay? So Vegas was the 1.
Okay.
Vegas was 51-22-9. Colorado was 51-24-7.
Wow, so they're a small favorite for a team that is playing an 8 seed. That just shows the different sport that hockey is. That's what I'm saying.
How do you break them up? I mean, you and I talked about it last week. If there was a Game 7 last night in the NBA, you thought it would be higher. It was actually 7.5 before tip last night.
And I've never been more shocked about the outcome of a game since probably Georgia-Alabama a couple years ago after Georgia lost in the SEC title game but won the Natty. I was convinced Alabama would win that national title game. I would have bet my life that Boston would have won that game after coming back 3. So for them to be so flat right away was shocking to me. I understand Tatum sort of fell on his ankle early, and of course it affected him a little bit, but man, I didn't expect them to lay such an egg. Jaylen Brown was so bad that he might get traded this offseason.
That was the word. Again, I didn't watch it. I was just so disgruntled. But
not a great game.
I certainly read about it and read a lot of comments on it. And, yeah, Brown is Jaylen Brown's the blame game.
Yeah, Saturday was the great game. It almost was like
But how do you blow that lead?
Crazy.
How did Boston blow that? I mean, everyone will talk about the tip, and it was unbelievable. How do you blow it?
They had like a 10-point lead and like 2 minutes left, maybe like a 9-point lead with a minute left. It obviously I didn't watch this, but it reminded me of Carlton Fisk's home run. You know, like they in Game 6, it was a crazy ending against the Reds. Yeah. Carlton Fisk hits the home run and then they lose Game 7.
Oh yeah,
it's almost exactly the same thing that happened, except for the 3-0 lead. But that crazy play to end Game 6 just to turn around a couple nights later and lose at home.
57-05, and again, now it's 0 for 151. Those in the playoffs who have been up 3-0, 0 for 151 teams who have come back and tried to win 4 in a row. There have been 15 out of the 151 times that a game 6
and
was
only
forced.
3, I believe.
Yeah, only 3 for a Game 7. But the record
so you got
remains.
That, Celtics. Congrats.
Yeah, the record remains, though, 0 for 151. Unbelievable number. 57-05 says, Ballou, Trayvon Walker was not a lost year. Devon Lloyd was lost. Trayvon Walker had more impact on the run game than people seem to remember. I'd agree with that. I would. Here's my position on Trayvon Walker. I think they did him a disservice. I honestly do. Because they drafted him with the assumption that he was going to be the guy to get after the quarterback, and I think they misused him. I think right now, defensively, putting him in outside linebacker and doing both positions hurt him. And, you know, I say this way. Everything they're doing on offense, I love. Okay? I mean, we can go Doug Peterson and Jim Bob Cooter's no longer here, but we can go through Mike McCoy and we can go through Press Taylor and we can go through Trevor Lawrence. Everything they do on offense, early on in the year, I was asking for a little bit more run, right? But overall, offense, I'm going to give it an A. Defense, I don't like the scheme. I don't like how they use the personnel. So I'm automatically against the defense before we even actually start talking about what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. I think they have better talent to run the defense differently, if that makes any sense. But you are right about Walker, and we hit on that throughout the course of the offseason. Those big splash plays aren't going to come from him. He had the great interception. You know, he had 3.5 sacks. When you're the top pick in the draft, you're going to be looked at for bigger numbers, sexier type of numbers. But you are right. He has been asked to do a lot of different things. He's actually pretty good against the run. I did hear from Devin Lloyd today, who was saying all the right things. Devin Lloyd talking about just how different year 2 is, in his opinion, how it already is, and how it'll be compared to his rookie season. I mean, rookie seasons can really affect guys, and obviously in a lot of different ways. I'm not giving up on Lloyd. I still think this man can play. So I hope you don't give up on him as well. We'll see what ends up happening. And, you know, I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to say it the entire offseason. I'm going to say it in season. But those two right there, along with Chad Muma and Andre Sisco, if you can get those 4 to really improve on their play, we can sit here all night and talk about Yasir Abdullah and Antonio Johnson and 5th-round picks like that. But if you get your 2 first-round picks and your 2 second-round picks, I guess Sisco was a 3rd, to improve the way that they can improve, then that right there with those 4 players is going to make this football team that much better than they were during the 2022 season. All right, we got much more to do. Let's get into it in our second hour. You want to join the conversation on anything you heard us talk about as far as the Jags? Right now is the best time to do that. 641-1010. That is the number, and it is brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Summer sun. Get the summer feeling on Jacksonville's Summer Station. 1010XL. 1010XL.
It's time to play Fix That Plumbing Problem. What do you do when your water heater stops working? Contestant 1?
Heat water on the stove?
Come on, really?
Or maybe in the microwave?
Contestant 2? That's right. Just call the duck.
For new water heater installations or repairs, just call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter. Commercial, residential, any plumbing issue.
When you're stuck, call the duck. 904-862-6769.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, City Rescue Mission is here to help. Learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
If you know someone with cancer and no insurance, call the U.S. Uninsured Helpline at 800-234-1317.
The Creeks Athletic Association in St. Johns County offers a variety of sports for children 5 to 18. Learn how to get your child involved at caale.org.
Builders Care is looking for volunteers, and there are so many ways you can help. Find out how at builderscare.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com. The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars, WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Your quick and easy solution for paying the lowest price on car insurance is Estrella Insurance. E to the T here, and start saving the big bucks and pay less today. Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE and see for yourself. That's 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE or visit EstrellaInsurance.com.
Wrestling fans, the River City Wrestling Con will slam into the Jax Fairgrounds June 10th and 11th. This two-day event will feature appearances by pro wrestling superstars, exciting wrestling matches, and an assortment of vendors and artists. Guests include Kurt Angle, Saraya, Jake the Snake Roberts, Rob Van Dam, and many more. Get tickets at rivercitywrestlingcon.com or follow on social media for event updates. June 10th and 11th, the River City Wrestling Con at the Fairgrounds.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, much more on the Jaguars coming up this hour. I have some comments on the newest member of the Jags. That is specialist Brandon McManus. Also another interesting day for Calvin Ridley, which was noticeable. And getting a lot from you. Best way to join us is always on our text line. That is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. That includes the 7102, says, Ballou, let Josh Allen go somewhere else to get paid. When has he ever done a bam-bam thing? Overhyped average player. Don't let the door hit you in the backside out of Duval. This is exactly the type of player Dougie P needs to say, see you to. I'm going to disagree with a lot of that. Josh Allen is a good player. Okay, he's a better person than he is a player. And I say that from the outside looking in. He really appears to be that way. As far as his performance on the field, yeah, it does leave a little bit to be desired. I mean, he was the 7th pick in the draft. And when you're holding out, I have to believe that he thinks he's worthy of top 5 money at his position. He's not. If I was to, I've changed on this. If I was to, when they lost to Kansas City, my guess would have been over 50% that they would get a long-term extension done with Josh Allen. Right now, I'm under 50%. Now, it's not a 25% or a 30%. It's in the 40s somewhere. I still think it's going to be real close, but I'm under the impression right now that they have so much ahead of them as far as guys that they're going to have to redo, that where do you rank Josh Allen on that list of guys that you have to get something done with? They're going to have to get something done with that offensive line. Okay, you have a rookie in Harrison. Next year, you're going to have a 4th-year guy in Little. Right now, I think it's a question as to whether or not Robinson survives this year in Jacksonville. He's certainly not going to survive next year with his 0 guaranteed money going to him. There's no way they're going to bring him back. It was a bad signing. And maybe that's another way to look at it. I don't know if you can take what you did previously and use it towards another player, because they're all totally different, the way that they're wired and that the way that each situation is when you're talking about an individual player. Not when you're talking about the team, though, and the salary cap and fitting guys under the amount of money you're allowed to do it in. To me, the Cam Robinson signing was a disaster. They never should have re-signed him. And if you rewind the tape, not that I'm patting myself on the back, but I was like, no, he's a very, 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 very average tackle to below average tackle, in my opinion. Now, others are going to disagree with me on that, and that's fine. That's what makes all of this a whole heck of a lot of fun.
So you think it's less than 50% chance that they get a long-term deal this offseason with Josh Allen? Do you think him sitting out OTAs or working out somewhere else or whatever he's doing is helping or hurting the chances of that, or doesn't really matter?
I'm going to take the third option there. Doesn't really matter.
I agree.
You know, it's certainly not helping his negotiations. No. I think it's hurting in the way that I've described.
Hurt being able to
hurt the team, work with these younger players, okay? Although I do think there's enough professional respect that comes from Trent Baalke, Doug Peterson, the company, to understand that that's the way that the league works. It's not like it's their first rodeo. I'm sure this stuff happened all the time in San Francisco and in Philadelphia and other places they both were during their stops. I mean, this is negotiations. This is his second contract. I'm sure Josh Allen, when he was drafted 4 years ago, thought that, after his 4th year, and they picked up the 5th-year option at $10,892,000, which is guaranteed, so that's $11 million for 17 games. That's great money for you and I. But I'm sure he's thinking at this point he was going to sign one of those, 4-year, $100 million contract extensions.
Generational wealth.
Yes, and it's not going to happen. I mean, this you can't pay him that. How can you? I mean, just look at the guys that are coming up, okay? You're going to have to redo the whole Christian Kirk, Zay Jones thing again. If not in 2024, you're going to have to decide to do it by 2025. You're going to have to decide to redo Brandon Sheriff again. You're going to have to decide whether or not you can re-sign for a mega dollars Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley and Travis Etienne and Tyson Campbell, okay? Those are all players that you are going to have to address. What if this year, let me give you a best-case scenario. What if Walker Little shows up this year and is outstanding? Okay? So Walker Little has done very, very little, no pun intended, in his career because he was a backup and he was coming off an injury and doing things along those lines. But all of a sudden, you insert him into the starting lineup, okay, this year. And then next year, he is in year 4 of his rookie contract, and he's playing well again. And all of a sudden, you're like, what's it going to cost to have the left tackle, who will be 25 years of age, protect Trevor Lawrence, and you know that all of a sudden this guy can play? It's going to cost you more than $20 million a year. You could tell me the salary cap isn't real. You could tell me that you can always restructure contracts. I still think that Jacksonville's done a pretty nice job, even with the massive amounts of money they gave free agents, particularly a year ago. You don't want to have that hit you down the road, and sooner or later you're going to get burnt. Teams do. Now, I think that Trent Baalke and his staff, I think they are very, very good. And as a matter of fact, I think they're underrated with the way that they handle the money. I remember reading some crap coming out of San Fran or listening to some people. Baalke doesn't know how to handle the cap. He doesn't know how to redo deals. And look at the deals that he's done here. They have been absolutely fantastic with these free agents. I mean, spectacular. You know that after 2 years, you can get out. And a year ago, they could have gotten out with Shaq as they did, and they could have gotten out with Rayshawn. They could have gotten out with Roy Robertson-Harris. Well, they thought enough of Roy Robertson-Harris, the way he played the last 8 games, to give him a restructured deal, and we all assumed that Jenkins was going to get one. And the way it's designed now, let's see how Rayshawn plays. If Rayshawn plays well, find a way to get him a new deal. If he does not play well, let's move along. Antonio Johnson, you're next up. If they can't address it with him, then they're going to have to go find themselves another safety. So I think Baalke has done a much better job than he gets credit for as far as the way that he has handled these contracts. But, I mean, folks, everything I'm telling you here is a pleasant problem. This is what you want. You don't want to have to go out into free agency and overspend like you did with the players that I just mentioned. You want to draft well and then be forced to re-sign your own players. And every once in a while, some of your own players, because you don't have enough money, and hopefully there's so many of them, that you're going to have to pick and choose. Which ones do you want to retain? One of a lot of guys around here that, I mean, I guess A-Rob comes to mind. Who else? Snuck out of town that was like a guy that Jacksonville wasn't able to re-up with. And, you know, you'll hear the Alan Lazards and stuff like that, but he was cut. I'm talking about prominent players that would have really helped this team that they couldn't afford to re-sign him. They let him go. Jawan Taylor may be the best example, okay? And he hasn't done anything yet in Kansas City.
Jalen, totally different story.
And that was a trade.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a trade. Yeah. I mean, they have left guard to try to figure out, you know, what's going to happen there with Ben Barch. You guys said earlier, watching Ben Barch run today on the side, coming back from his injury, along with Josh Wells, along with Cam Robinson. You know, one thing that this team has really made a big deal about, which I have always felt does not matter, but maybe it does, is team morale, team character, team integrity. Okay? It's no secret. If you look at the list of free agents and draft picks, amazing character. I mean, silly. The first time I heard from Foye Oluokun or Big Folo, or had a chance to hear from Zay Jones or Christian Kirk or Evan Ingram, just really high-quality character guys. And I've always kind of looked at that and kind of smiled. And it's like, please, some of the greatest football teams we ever seen, some of the greatest players we've ever seen have been very questionable character-wise. I think it really showed itself to that much more importance, if you will, after having a head coach here who flat out lied, right? And having a head coach here. And there's really only two words that we can use to describe Urban Meyer. It's bad guy, right? Bad guy. Anything else is a lie. Urban Meyer's let me add a third word. He's a bad human being, okay? To lie to you the way he did, to lie to his players, to lie to everyone the way that he did. So they needed to change that around a little bit. But I also believe, man, you got to find good football players, okay? And sometimes these good football players make mistakes. I feel like there's something going on with Cam. I can't put my finger on it. I even saw him today. He had like that disposition on his face, like he didn't really want to be there. Now, granted, he's running wind sprints and it's 87. So maybe I would feel the same way. Heck, I get that way when I check the mail. But it just feels like there's something going on right now with Cam that we're all going to find out about it. You know, it's going to happen. I don't feel that way about Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's just trying to play hardball. Josh Allen's just trying to get paid. And this is the tactic that his agency is going to say. You're trying to make more money? Hold out. It's voluntary. You don't have to be there. All right, let's try to get caught up here on breaks. When we come back, I do want to hit on a couple of, newer members of the Jaguars. One is the absolute newest. That's Brandon McManus. Comment coming up. And I watched him today, man. You talk about a leg. I read about him, 72 kicks in his career, 50 yards or longer. That's impressive. He had some boomers today. I mean, it is a big-time leg. No question. And I think, one of the first things that you'll think about with him or any other kicker, especially from Colorado, is altitude and everything that goes into kicking the ball. You get the hot days here where it's like you're swimming. There's so much humidity. What's that going to do to a golf ball? Golf ball typically comes out. What's that going to do to a football when you're kicking compared to kicking in the Mile High City where it's totally different? So I think that comes into play. And the other one was with Calvin Ridley. Asked about him a little bit earlier today, and I believe I shared with you comments that Ridley said. If not, I'm definitely going to get to that on the other side. But let me tease it to you by saying this. If you are a Jaguar fan and you heard what I heard when it comes to what Calvin Ridley had to say, you, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be completely fired up.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
The fun's over. Anybody messes this thing up is through.
The Drill.
Not only are you fired, your life is over.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Don't mess up.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career and come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. Well, Jacksonville, as we turn the TV on in hopes of hearing something positive, we're hit with another mass shooting or murder on the local level. It seems to never end. We pray, we fast, and any number of other things. We do have to understand, as James said in the Bible, paraphrasing, prayer without works is dead. We as a community have got to get active to remove these individuals from our streets. How do we do that? Glad you asked. You can become a member of Mad Dads by calling 904-718-1649. We will train you on how to go to the streets to remove the individuals responsible for the crime from the community. We've got to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. For information about Mad Dash, go to Mad Dash Jacksonville Chapter Facebook or mad-jacksonville.com.
I'm Dr. Mitchell Yass, the most unknown world-renowned expert on pain elimination. That's right, elimination. If you've tried medications, injections, physical therapy, chiropractic, even surgery, and still experience pain, then say yes to Yass. I have successfully used the Yass method for over 30 years to help thousands reclaim their lives. To learn more, call me at 904-906-YASS. Let's end your pain and say yes to Yass.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. These pests are out for blood, but you don't have to let them win. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Denny Thompson here. Tyson Sound & Security is hiring salespeople right now. If you want to sell new tech security cameras or home automation, Tyson Sound & Security is looking for you. Tyson Sound & Security is hiring for sales positions, and they will train you to be successful. Apply online at TysonSoundAndSecurity.com or call 762-1000. That's 762-1000. Hiring for sales positions right now. Apply online at TysonSoundAndSecurity.com or call 762-1000. Equal opportunity employer.
This is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. Remember when you were going to get that pain fixed this year? Well, the year is almost halfway over. If you're still dealing with that pain, enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today at 904-274-5522. Set up a free consultation in Mandarin or Ponte Vedra. The advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain. You can do all those summer activities you love. How do they do it? By taking healing properties from your own body and applying them right into your achy joint. Your tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. You can have life-changing results without drugs, surgery, or downtime. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulders, hips, enough is enough. Call QC Kinetics now, 904-274-5522. That's 274-5522.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
When looking for a firearm, you want knowledge of product, a fair price, and of course, a quick process. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach is always stocked with brand new firearms and the quickest in and out times this side of the ditch. BeachesJewelryandPawn.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Doug Peterson comments coming up here in just a couple of seconds. I will admit I'm being a little bee when it comes to my hometown team. The divorce is in, and I wasn't going to mention it. I got asked about it during crosstalk. But I am on record now as saying that they're going to go a quarter century without winning a title in any one of the four sports. Mookie Betts, to me, is the new Babe Ruth. You don't give away a 27-year-old 5-tool player for nothing, okay? You just don't. Bruins have won one in 51 years. Celtics have won one in 37 years. The New England Patriots suck. They're going to be the fourth best team in the AFC East this year. So it's on the heels of what happened with the Celtics, on the heels of what happened to the Bruins, both teams losing to South Florida 8 seeds. the 8-seeded Panthers and the 8-seeded Heat. Well, it's time to bounce back. Let's find some new energy. Let's look forward. Heading here towards the end of May. Going to wake up on Wednesday. It's going to be June. I guess that's Thursday. It's going to be June. Let's look in tonight live from Fenway Park. Reds up 8-0 over the Red Sox.
Oh, the Reds, too. An absolute terrible franchise.
I'm telling you right now, JJ. I hope we're here for 25 years.
I was about to say 25 is a long
Well, it's
time.
already 5's in now. They haven't won since 2018, so I only need 20 more.
Really? It's been 5 years since the Red Sox won.
Red Sox and Patriots
Because
in 2018.
they seem to do it when they're least expected to. And obviously, it's not happening this year at that roster, but God, 25 years.
Odds makers would say the team closest to that.
Celtics.
Got to be the Celtics.
They're in the Eastern Conference Finals pretty much every single year.
Right.
They have a good.
And now they're talking about trading Jaylen Brown.
Young nucleus.
And they were outcoached.
I heard people yesterday, the Bill Simmons types, blaming Yume Adoku, or however you say his name.
For his affair?
For the loss last night.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. I mean, they've had politicians in that city whose brother of the politician was murdering people. If you look at the William Bulger, Whitey Bulger situation, affairs and all that stuff have always gone on behind the scenes in that great city. So you have a coach who's part of it, and he wasn't even married, right?
No, but
he wasn't even married, for crying out loud.
I guess because the girl that he was hooking up with was an employee.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, that's a power relationship, boss-employee type thing. Trust me, the Celtics don't care if you cheat on your wife with a woman, but make sure that it's not a team employee.
So I'm talking about it being a third world city. Things like that happen there. It's not going to happen in football. Belichick's never going to see another title.
I agree with that.
Where do you rack? Honestly, out of 16 teams in the AFC, the Jaguars are so far ahead of the Patriots right now. I mean, it's not even close in football. Baseball, they have the worst record in the American League East, which is the best division. Still the worst record.
Being in the best division makes it harder to win the World Series.
And you just went through a football and hockey. They put together the best record they ever had in hockey in the history of the NHL. They've won one cup in 51 years. They won 2 in the first 3 years of my life.
Don't they have an aging roster as well? Or just the couple stars?
Well, they sold their souls to the devil. They went out and acquired some very good veteran talent and give up a ton of youth for it.
This season.
Yeah. So they've got quite a few players that are getting up there in age, including 2 of their 3 best players, and Patty Bergeron and Brad Marchand. I'd be surprised if Patty Bergeron came back another year. Let's get back to the Jaguars. Let's begin with the kicker. Brandon McManus really surprised me this past week or late last week when that Raleigh Patterson did a really good, put together a really good year. Obviously made that kick against the Los Angeles Chargers. So this came as a surprise, but Brandon McManus is a kicker, a veteran in this league who's made a lot of big kicks during his career, and he is a former Super Bowl winner. Today, Doug Peterson, head coach of the Jaguars, was asked about his newest player.
Look, first of all, I can't say enough about Riley and what he did for us last year, and obviously it was a huge kick in the Charger game at the end of the year to get us into the divisional round, and obviously wish him the best. And you guys know how Trent and I feel. Anytime you can add a player, like Brandon, who's got the going into his 10th year with the experience that he has, and an opportunity also to get something for Riley too. It's not like it was just a total washout there, but to be able to get a pick for Riley and actually keep him in the NFL and keep him kicking back in Detroit where he came from and started. So it was just an opportunity to help us get better as a football team, and we're always going to look to do that, and it's just unfortunate that when you're at 90 guys you have to make these type of decisions to move on.
when you're at 90. Yeah, that's hilarious. Not when you're getting to 53. He's using it when they actually get to 90 and hey, we love what he did for us here, but it's time to move on. It just seems like if you were to come up with a word to describe the Jaguars and kickers, doesn't dysfunctional come to mind? Honestly.
Well, not in the early history of the
No.
team.
I'm talking
but
about the
in
last 5,
10
6 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a guy will come into camp for 2 weeks. We'll talk about him. He'll be gone. Halfway through the season, we're replacing another guy. And then Lambeau's beefing with the coach. He gets kicked. He has a lawsuit against the team. We bring in Riley Patterson. How about the guys they brought in who never attempted a field goal in his entire history before or after high school? Like, that's unheard of. And then even the guys that leave, they become good. Like, who's the guy in Seattle?
Jason Myers.
Jason Myers became
couldn't make a
the
PAT.
best kicker in football the next season after that.
Let me think of
Crazy.
Jason Myers was here, and, they moved back to stupid PAT, which, again, I'm the only person on this planet who thought and still does think that it was just a stupid rule. Just leave the PAT with a PATO. But they moved it back. Let's look it up. The 2017 season. Let's see. Josh Myers, a rookie, went 32 of 39.
Jason Myers.
Jason Myers for extra points. And then he went 29 to 32. Then he went 15 to 17. They let him go, and they brought in Lambeau. But he's gone on to be really, he had 143 points last year with Seattle. I mean, Myers went 34 of 37. That's 91.9%. He was 9-9 from 20 to 29. He was 15 to 60 from 30 to 39. He was 4 of 6 from 40 to 49. And he was 6 of 6, 50 plus. 6 of 6. So, and Lambeau was better. Listen, I love Josh Scobie. I love Mike Hollis. I knew them both personally. Okay, I consider them both friends to some aspect, and I've known them forever. Josh Lambeau, what he did here was absolutely off the chart. And then like that, he was gone tomorrow. And it's the same thing here now with Riley Patterson. So
6 for 6 from 50.
You got to be wired differently to be a kicker.
Yeah, it's all mental. When these guys lose it, they lose it. Like you said, Lambeau, I mean, there was a reason why he was cut in L.A. He didn't have it anymore. Comes here, changes scenery. He was amazing. And then all of a sudden he wasn't. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes it's not injuries with these guys. It's all mental. It's like putting.
Look at Aguayo. Kid never missed it for State.
Crazy what happened to him.
He was a first-round draft pick. Calvin Ridley. First of all, I put a couple of things on Twitter about Calvin Ridley, a couple of little video clips that I was allowed to post about him going through some of his own little receiver drills that are really impressive, and then some more stuff with his footwork. But Doug Peterson was asked about Calvin Ridley today, and basically Ridley at this point wants to do it all. But they're in kind of a shut-it-down mode with him, or let's take it easy on him. Remember, he has not played competitively since week 5, week 6 of the 2021 season. He took the rest of the year off. He had some mental health issues, and then last year, because of gambling, he didn't play. So it's been nearly 2 years for Calvin Ridley. Doug Peterson today asked about his newest wide receiver.
Just want to be careful with him. He is coming off, he hasn't played, in a while, plus the injury. And, so we're just trying to be careful with him. He's done an outstanding job for us. We just want to make sure that he's the type of guy that you have to kind of pump the brakes with. He wants to go so much and so fast and so hard out there at practice that we just kind of have to pump the brakes and just tell him, hey, now's not the time, But he's doing a great job. He's picking up the offense well. The times that he's working with Trevor, they're on the same page. They're connecting, and those are good things to see right now, in the offseason.
It's another great teaching point there by Doug Peterson, whether it's he himself, and I'm more than willing to give him all the credit, or it's his staff, whether it's his medical staff, whether it's a position coach or anything else saying, listen, let's take it easy on this guy. Let's not force everything on him right now here at the latter part of May. There's a lot of downtime until the regular season begins, because when I first started covering this team, the Tom Coughlin era of two-a-days, stuff like that you would never hear. It was about more. You know, and the whole world has changed. I don't want to single out Peterson here as being the only coach who can see that. There are other really good coaches in the NFL who are doing the same thing or would do the same thing. But it's really interesting how this came in with Calvin Ridley. He spoke with us after practice today, and I'll share one little nugget with you that should absolutely encourage you as a Jaguar fan. He was asked at the end of OTAs, which wrap up with the mandatory minicamp in a couple of weeks, what are your plans for the next 6 weeks until training camp does begin, which will be the last couple of days of July? And he said he's getting ready to work harder than he's ever worked in his life. He said, I need to find the perfect place to train, but I'm going to work harder than I ever had. And I thought that was kind of cool. We're talking about a 28-year-old veteran here who has already established himself in the league. The early look by the organization, certainly by the media who covers the team, has been nothing short of spectacular. If we heard one negative anything on Calvin Ridley, anything at all, have you? Is that they've said anything negative on prime time?
The only thing is today that he's working too hard.
Yeah.
Doug needs him to chill out.
I mean, it's been...
Can't get better than that.
It's been 100% for Calvin Ridley. His
Q rating is very high.
And then to hear him say, I'm getting ready to work harder than I've ever worked in my life. You know how I am, but I can't wait. I can wait. I want to enjoy the final day of May tomorrow. And I want to enjoy the first day of June on Thursday. But if you're signing up as a Calvin Ridley guy or a Calvin Ridley girl, brother, I understand. That's infectious to hear that. And all of a sudden, that wide receiver room. Who was the young man? We find it. He made a couple of really nice grabs today. Seth Williams, 6'3", 211. Third year out of Auburn. Didn't know much about him. Still don't know much about him. Obviously a long shot, but he made some really good grabs today. Again, out of respect, we had a big thing that came down recently about the respect for the Jaguars team and what we can and what we cannot say. There were a few things that happened this afternoon that involved Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley that were just fantastic. But out of respect, I can't tell you the route, I can't tell you the yardage, and that's just the way things are right now. And I'm not saying that to be a smartass. I'm saying that out of respect. But it's impressive. I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to use Trevor Lawrence to Calvin Ridley. Impressive. That word I'm allowed to use. And I'll use it because it came into play, no doubt. All right, let's put our final thoughts out there on the other side. Get you ready for Hacker Nation, who begins at 10. Again, rest of the week, 6 to 8. That's good on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right here on your home of the Jags.
Get your motor running.
Let's go racing!
Sunday at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Brought to you by Famous Automotive Tire and Quick Lube, servicing every customer like they're famous. On your NASCAR station, 1010XL.
This month only, at Key Buick GMC, receive employee pricing for everyone on all 2022 and 2023 Buicks in stock and on the lot. Combine big savings with a low APR to fit any budget. We are the only Buick GMC dealership offering a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new Buick. Remember, we're the home of the no dealer markups, and remember as well to get your Buick ready for summer travel at our service headquarters. Fast and convenient. Key Buick GMC on the corner of Southside and Gate.
Hey, Matt Hayes, temperatures are rising, and when you have an AC breakdown, you need it repaired today. Fenwick Home Services is the expert cooling team you can trust to repair your system the same day, or it's free. Fenwick is Jacksonville's always-ready cooling and plumbing team. Available 24/7, even nights and weekends with no emergency fees. Plus, Fenwick will keep your system covered with Florida's leading repair warranties. Call or book online at fenwickEasyBook.com.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances, that's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World,
simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Play on the edge. Stand on the edge. The Amateur's Edge. Get the Amateur's Edge. Powered by B3 Better. To learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
We've been telling you for almost a year about Nathan's Family Chiropractic and the 100-Year Lifestyle Network. If chronic back or joint pain is keeping you down, don't listen to me. Listen to what Jacksonville is saying about Dr. Alan Nathans.
The stem cell treatment took the pain away.
Changed my life. It's awesome.
Your body just works better when it's aligned. We're believers.
His no-needle regenerative protocols are giving people their lives back. Get yours back, too. Go to the pro in the know. Don't do another cortisone injection. He's one of us helping all of us for the past 25 years. For more info, drnathans.com.
Hacker here for the Sausage Dude Sausage, the sausage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Sausage Dude Sausage is made from high-quality pork and carefully sourced spices to make it the best sausage I've ever tried. You can pick up the Sausage Dude Sausage at Publix locations all throughout Jacksonville. Try the Polish, Hungarian, beer bratwurst with cheddar and jalapeno, or my favorite, the Italian. Take it from me, the Sausage Guy, and get to Publix today to get your hands on the Sausage Dude's Sausage.
ET here, and y'all know how much I like my brown water, but I ain't gonna lie, it gives me headaches sometimes. So my alternative is brackish vodka. This gluten-free alternative to Tito's is 100% local, and all monies stays right here in Duval. Not only does brackish vodka make you feel good, but when you support brackish vodka, you're also helping local charities. Try it side by side with your favorite vodka, and you will taste and smell how natural brackish vodka really is. And when you do, remember who sent you. Come on, somebody.
Beach Bar Rum, Santo, and Sammy's Beach Bar Cocktails present Crazy Times. Sammy Hagar and the Circle, live October 26th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Sammy brings the party with George Thorogood and the Destroyers, with special guest Damon Fowler. Tickets on sale now at theamp.com. Crazy times are coming.
Come to Bowden Eye for all your eye care needs. Hicken here. Did you know that dry eye disease affects up to 60 million Americans? Dry eye disease is known to progress. Dry eye disease is one of the most common but least diagnosed eye conditions doctors see in their patients. Many of us who have dry eye may not even feel it. At Bowden Eye and Associates, visit today for your personal consultation. Keeping the First Coast focused. Bowden Eye and Associates. New location now open off County Road 210 in St. Johns County.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That little downtime tomorrow in the NBA. Game 1 will be Thursday night at 8:30. That'll be in Denver. Again, the Nuggets, a huge series favorite. They're also a big-time Game 1 favorite by 8.5 points. You believe in rust? The whole rest?
I do, actually. It's been like since last Monday, maybe, that Denver played. I don't think it's going to affect them in the series as a whole, but game one, maybe. I could see them dropping game one. It's been a long time. I forgot they were even in the playoffs.
It has. It's also been a long time for the Florida Panthers, who have been off now for, 5 days maybe? And they will not drop the puck until Saturday night. Okay, so here it is only Tuesday. I mean, you got another 5 days. That'll
Classic
be at 8 o'clock.
NHL.
Right. Saturday night, TNT, 8 o'clock, Florida Panthers at the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Golden Knights, a small favorite in the series, about minus 130, and that's basically the same. In game one, it's actually 135 with a total at 5.5. Big Bob, man, he allowed 6 goals in 4 games for the Florida Panthers. Just think about that for a second. 1.5 goals a game. And maybe even more surprising is that the Florida Panthers only scored 10 goals in a 4-game sweep. I mean, if I was to say to you, the Panthers are going to only be able to score 10 goals in their series against Carolina, thinking I know a little something about hockey, I probably would have said, all right, well, they're done in 4, maybe 5, on the losing end. And they swept them. What the Panthers have done is absolutely frightening. Let me see when they played that last game. It was it last Wednesday when they actually did? Did they not give us dates on something? It was 5/25/23, so that would be 5 days ago. Today's 5/30/23. So they've already been off 5 days. They're going to be off 5 more days. Yeah, they're going to get about a 10-day rest. The Florida Panthers will until they take on the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals coming up on Saturday.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping 1010XL talking with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
All right, Hacker Nation time. What's going on, young man?
Rick, I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't have respect for you and for JJ and all the baseball fans here at 1010XL beforehand, but I've kind of adopted baseball this year with the new pitch clock, and I've watched a lot of games, and I've really gotten into the Rays again, and it helps that they're the best team in baseball. Yeah. But I don't know how you guys handle loss after loss after loss. They lost last night. They're on the verge of losing tonight, and I find myself getting so flustered about it. And you've done this for 50 years with the Red Sox, losing 60, 70, 80 games a year. Yeah. Unbelievably frustrating, man.
How about going 86 years without winning a World Series?
Well, that too, yes.
That sounds like it sucks.
When they gave away Babe Ruth. And as I said earlier, I think they've started their new streak after they gave away, Mookie Betts.
Here's the key hack to enjoying baseball season. Make sure you support a good team.
Yeah.
Because it can be a long summer when you don't.
Baseball is so different. In some aspects, we get it here and there in the NBA and in the NHL. But for the most part, the better team in college and pro football wins, for the most part. And I think when you go 82 games, for the most part, in the NHL and the NBA that happens, every once in a while it goes sideways. But in baseball, man, you can run into a hot pitcher or just run into a night where the guys were out drinking too much the night before, and they look like a shell of themselves.
Braves lost to the A's last night. It's unexplainable. It just happens.
Now, you're a purist. Wins. Do you like the rule changes, the pitch clock, all that?
I do. And the reason why I do is that you can defend a product for so long, but when you see the masses and the masses and the masses complain to the point where they leave the game, then you got to make a change for the better. And the way that this has been sped up, I haven't heard from anyone go the other way and say, I miss the old days of, give me 2 or 3 balls, pick up the rosin bag, shake off 2 or 3 signs,
Honestly, the only complaint I've heard, I got a buddy that's a season ticket holder in Tampa. They actually do have some of those down there.
Beer sales?
Beer sales.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of time to drink beer and get a couple of hot dogs like he used to in the past.
Yeah. And they're losing a lot of money. And I know it's happened. It started in Milwaukee. And I know there's been another couple of stadiums, which again, and I'm surprised Roger Goodell didn't sign off on this because he's the biggest hypocrite out of anyone that we cover in sports. But forever they've said, we're going to shut off beer sales after 7 innings because we're concerned about people getting in their vehicle and driving home drunk. This year they sped up the games like, well, we're going to continue beer sales until the end of the 8th inning, totally blowing off everything about driving and drinking and driving. It all ends up being about making more money.
The almighty buck, no question about it. But yeah, as a casual baseball fan, the fact the games are 2.5 hours now and not 3 hours and 15 minutes, I've watched more baseball in the last 2 months than I probably did in the last 2 years.
What's going on tonight?
Yeah, a lot of football, obviously. There's your baseball talk for the evening, although we will get into a little Major League Baseball. But Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com, about 25 minutes away. We'll talk OTAs with Brian. And then our NFC East preview starts this week. We'll go to all 4 NFC East markets. We'll start with a guy that you know, back from your days on the ball, Scott Jackson up in Washington, D.C., as we preview the Washington Commanders.
Work with both Scott Jackson and Brian Sexton, both on the ball back in the good old days of the mid-'90s. All right, good to see you out of practice today. Have a lot of fun with your show coming up. That's Hacker Nation. Folks, I'm out of here. I don't check the text line with the show over. If you want to get me, please do so on Twitter. That is Ballou, Ballou, 1010XL. Tomorrow night, 6 to 8. That'll be the case the rest of the week as it is each and every week. So we'll be fired up. Already looking forward to our Wednesday program. For JJ, my name is Rick Ballou. Have a great night. We will talk with you tomorrow night